नमस्कार दोस्तों, हाल ही में हुई इंडियन प्रेसिडेंशियल इलेक्शंस के बाद अब द्रौपदी मुर्मू बनेंगी इंडिया की नई प्रेसिडेंट।
Dhruv Rathi is a big name in the Indian YouTube space. He isn't based in India, he's actually in Europe. But his channel, in which he posts explainers on news, geopolitics, history, technology, is at the top of a growing list of Indian news and current affairs YouTubers. With more than 11 million subscribers, it has a bigger audience than some established TV news channels have online. For Rathi, YouTube is where it's at.
There were multiple reasons why I started my YouTube channel. One is that I'm genuinely interested in making educational videos in a simplified format, which is not available anywhere else on the internet.
कैसे हमारे शहरों की हालत बहुत खराब है, लेकिन कैसा लगेगा सुनकर अगर मैं आपसे कहूं दोस्तों, इन सभी प्रॉब्लम्स का एक बड़ा सिंपल सॉल्यूशन है.
My choice of content was based on what I felt was lacking in the Indian mainstream media. There was a big empty space there waiting to be filled in.
Rathi was an early adopter. There are many more YouTubers now in India's news, current affairs and edutainment space. There's Abhi and Niyu, a high-octane couple who started as travel vloggers and now have nearly 5 million subscribers watching their newsy videos.
ये 2004 के बाद होने वाला सबसे डेंजरस ट्रेन एक्सीडेंट था एंड आई एम शॉक्ड.
Then there's Samdesh Bhatia. Beneath the very laid-back, sometimes scruffy look is an interviewer who manages to snag everyone.
How does this make you feel? Like personally, I really want like a genuine answer. How does this make you feel?
He speaks with high-profile politicians like the leader of India's biggest opposition party to A-list actors.
उसका process कैसा रहता है? वो you're playing to the gallery?
There's also a whole raft of journalists who've checked out of mainstream news. Many of them say journalism on India's airwaves has become seriously compromised.
In mainstream media, I've worked for almost 15 years. There were a few stories which I really wanted to do while being there, but I could not. There were certain topics, certain people they didn't want to touch. I just felt so suffocated. That's the time when I thought that I should just quit. And when I look at television news debates today, I just thank my stars, that thank God I took that decision.
Mainstream television news in India is pretty much failing people when it comes to catering to public interest. If you just look at last month, we had the inauguration of a brand new parliament building, and there was wall-to-wall television news coverage on what the Prime Minister was doing, saying how this moment was a great moment of pride for us.
ये पल भी बेहद खूबसूरत है.
बिल्कुल, और आप देखेंगे कि प्रधानमंत्री एक विशेष प्रकार की शालीनता दिखा रहे हैं.
That very same day, there was a protest very close to the parliament by female Olympic medal winning wrestlers who had accused the chief of India's wrestling federation of years of sexual harassment. And it so happens that this man is an MP from the governing BJP. But there was near total blackout on television about these women and the protest that was happening simultaneously. At that point, you had a lot of YouTube creators who did explainers on the issue, who highlighted the protest. Even we did one video at News Laundry. Wrestlers finally decide to march to Parliament. They're roughed up, detained.
India's YouTube revolution was propelled forward by two transformative events. Most recently, there was the lockdown during the COVID pandemic. And 4 years before that, a mobile data bonanza in 2016.
Jio will give the power of data to each Indian to fulfill every dream.
In September 2016, one of India's most prominent industrialists, Mukesh Ambani, launched a new mobile service, Jio. It was a sensation. Users were offered 4 gigabytes of data free per day. Within 6 months, India was the top mobile data user in the world. 1 billion gigabytes of data per month compared to just 200 million pre-Jio. Then in 2020, when COVID struck and the country was in lockdown, video streaming got a boost. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Hotstar all saw the benefits. And so did YouTube. In the past year, 2 reports, one by a New Delhi-based think tank, the CSDS, and another by the Oxford-based Reuters Institute, have documented a steady increase in the number of Indians turning to YouTube for their news. So many that the government of India has begun to pay attention.
Piyush Goyal, sir, how are you?
Top of the world.
I'm very excited about this particular conversation.
This past month, one of the country's biggest YouTube and podcast creators, Ranveer Allahabadia, filmed a series of interviews with members of the government. It's one of the first campaigns organized by New Delhi with a YouTuber, a clear play for a younger audience and younger voters.
And you're speaking to not just me, but like probably the whole youth of the country that's listening to this.
There is another reason why the government would be advised to pay attention to YouTube: misinformation.
So fake news and hate speech are huge problems on YouTube. You have people sometimes pretending to be journalists, and these guys do insane amount of damage. They'll, for example, go to a predominantly Muslim area and say that all these people here aren't Indian, they're illegal refugees, they're here from Bangladesh. And what we've seen is that YouTube and any other social media companies really are very slow at pulling down these videos. Often they've already gone viral before any final action is taken. Now, of late, we've seen the government wanting to regulate the digital space more. The question is how much of the regulation will be genuinely about reacting to content that is misinforming people or spreading hate, and how much of it might be politically motivated monitoring.
The very real possibility of political intimidation or legal threats are a second-order problem for many Indian YouTubers. The first thing most of them need to work out is how to earn a living through their content. Ads, the ones you see before, after, and sometimes during videos, are a prime moneymaker. YouTube gives creators a sliver of ad money for each ad view. If your videos are really popular though, then you can go further. Corporate sponsorships, special subscriber packages, and options for direct donations from your viewers.
I'm not funded by any state governments, I'm not funded by any company. It's just the ads that are being played in between my videos. But people do realize that I do need some kind of support because you have your staff, you have to go and cover elections, you have to spend a lot of money. I have certain subscribers, they are paying something which is equivalent to a Netflix subscription monthly.
In a media landscape inundated with film celebrities, increasingly commercialized cricket, and shouting matches on TV masquerading as nuanced discussion, the rise of the Indian current affairs YouTuber is remarkable.
बढ़िया एग्जाम्पल है हाफ ट्रूथ का.
Last month, Dhruv Rathi posted a video that set something of a record. Just more than a month since going online, it has racked up 17 million views. It was about a film that claimed to tell a true story about women in India's southern state of Kerala. A film that was widely critiqued for scaremongering and Islamophobia.
The whole movie was trying to project it as some kind of conspiracy happening in the state of Kerala, that women from Kerala are constantly converted and are made to join the ISIS, and they're going to join the ISIS. So all that I said in my video was that whatever was said in the movie is not factually accurate. This is the real data, and this is the wrongful fact that the movie has been alleging.
पूरी की पूरी propaganda फिल्में बनाई जा रही हैं लोगों को बहकाने के लिए.
Later, I think a few days after the release of my video, the Supreme Court of India actually said that the movie should now run a disclaimer that this is a fictionalized version of the event and this is not actually what happened. The fact that so many Indians are taking their information from YouTube tells you that there is a serious problem with the mainstream media in India. What the news channels are showing you, there is a big thing that is lacking in there, and that's why people are going over to alternative sources and trying to get their info from there.